Hi guys. Today I want to talk about habits. And habits, people might have. They might not even think that they're habits. They might think a habit should be that they bite their fingernails or they pick their nose and stuff like that. Pick their nails, things like that. But a habit is anything that you've been conditioned into doing. Something that you do daily, something that you do constantly, or whenever you do something, you do it in a certain way. And how you got to that position in your life, how you decided you'll do this certain thing in this certain way, is down to the experiences that you've had, down to the things you've been exposed to, and sometimes down to what your parents or your peers have shown you to be what they believe to be the best way to do things. And they might not always be right. The One of the big things I can ever seen in my life was thinking that I was not worthy. That just because I had didn't really finish my college education, because I didn't have a trade, I didn't learn how to be a carpenter or a welder or a plumber or an electrician or one of those jobs, building jobs. I didn't have one of those things, one of those certificates in my life. That then I was only ever going to be somebody who was going to fleet between jobs, job to job, and never have a solid living, never had a solid income. Um, I remember growing up that the idea was always put across like that. My brother, who had a trade, was always going to be set for life, and he pretty much is. He's working all the time. He's doing okay for himself. Well, everybody kind of felt sorry for me. All my parents' friends would say, "Oh, what's Paul doing these days?" Just because they generally didn't think that I was going to be up to anything. So that really gets to you after a while, after so many years of listening to this kind of stuff. And because I went off and I had my first business when I was 20, 21, and that closed down. Generally people kind of will say, well, oh, okay, you had this business and yeah, it closed down, it failed, and that you failed and you're a failure. So that becomes kind of like a habit. That becomes a condition in your brain where you accept that as what that should be, and this is the whole sum of your life. Um, so thinking that you're not worthy is a habit. It's a condition in your mind that's not really healthy for you expanding your life. So and that living in, you think that living in that current situation that you're in is as good as it gets. It's as good as it's ever going to be. Maybe you tried, maybe you didn't. But if you tried and you failed, and you listen to what comes back from people saying, "Oh well, you tried and you failed. You're a failure. So you better go back in. You better go get a job, the same way everybody else did, and the same way that we do, and just exist, just survive." So that becomes a norm for you. Then you think, well, everybody else is doing that. Well, maybe I should too. And if you really, if you don't want to, you don't have to. But anyway, moving on. So you'll take on the ailments as well of people, of your parents and that, because you think that this is the way it's supposed to be. If it's in your family, if it's in your genetic makeup, that you're going to have bad eyesight, gum disease, back pain, joint pain in general, then you will have them, and they will be really bad if you expect them and you practically seek it. My mother has a lot of ailments, body ailments that I seem to be developing, but I don't really let them worry me. I take care of myself as best I can, and there's some stuff you can't do anything about if it's genetic. But when it starts happening, you need to take care of yourself much better. That's my little dog there at the back, having a little roll around in the backyard. Okay, so when you enjoy life more, and you want to, you need to set yourself a goal of becoming a better human being. You see yourself as being a person who does not have all these ailments, who did not have all these inherited predispositions to be just surviving, to just only pay the bills, to just only, just about get through life. You might be conditioned into like thinking that watching lots and lots of TV is a really good thing, and that's a really good way of spending time with your family. For me, it's not. If I want to really spend good time with my family, I may sit down and watch a movie with them. But I like interacting with them in that way. Or I like talking with them. I like discussing. I like speaking more than watching soap operas or even the news or whatever. It doesn't really catch me. I prefer to learn, and I prefer to share my experiences with my family. It's a much more, for me, it's a better way of interacting. But a lot of people think that watching TV and drinking a lot all through the week. Okay, I'm not a teetotaler. I'll have a drink. I'll only drink maybe 1 or 2 nights on the weekend, and not so much. Or people that think that smoking a lot is what it is. Maybe their parents smoked or their friends smoked, and they thought it was cool, and they went off and they done it, and without, even when people know that smoking can kill you, it still won't stop them because they enjoy it. People will watch lots and lots of TV, of soap operas and stuff like that, because they enjoy it. They don't see that maybe this is kind of distracting them from life, which is okay. It's okay to have a distraction, but that distraction does not need to be a constant distraction. So much the distraction distracts you from reality, and your reality is your situation, your current position, your current place in life. So when you're distracted from that, then you feel that it's okay to be in that position. It's okay to be in that place, and so then you don't want to push yourself beyond what you have. You don't want to push yourself beyond where you are, because it's okay. You can distract yourself, and everybody else gets distracted, and they're okay with it too. So the most things that we do is only because we're able to look at them from our life perspective. So if your perspective is that you're never going to be a big star in your field, or you're never going to be a success, then you're never going to see the value in that. You're never going to appreciate the work that people have done to get into the position where they are a success. You're never going to value having more than enough money to support yourself, so that you can really live comfortably, that you think money is evil. If you grew up just surviving, and you grew up listening to your parents, your peers putting down people that had money, then you're going to grow up thinking that money is bad, and that having money is of no value. Well, unfortunately, in this world, you do need to have money. If you can be happy in your position, you can be happy in your situation. There's no problem with being happy with nothing. Absolutely. But what most people want, and what get people most depressed, is the fact that they can't provide totally and utterly for every single thing that they or their family want, especially the people that they're immediately responsible for, like their children or their spouse. And it's true the excuse of saying that money doesn't matter. They rationalize their ideology, because once you rationalize an ideology, then you can believe anything. You can make yourself believe anything. If you say to yourself, well, I don't need money because my parents didn't have much money and we survived, we done okay. Yeah, you done okay, you lived, but you could have done. You really do want to get better. You really do want more money. People will always say, "Oh, I'd love to win the lotto. I'd love to win the lottery," and that's great. But the majority of people that win the lottery in anywhere, any country around the world that does have lotteries will lose that money within a short space of time. Very few people that win a serious amount of money in a lottery actually keep on to it or generate more than what they got. Very, very few. And most of that is down to mindset. If you have a habit of spending and spending, as soon as you get money, you're going to spend it again. If you need to develop a habit where money comes into your life and you enjoy some of it, absolutely. Do what makes you happy. I'm all for that. But you also need to look at taking some of that money and making it work for you. You know, if I personally won the lottery, I'd put so much into setting my life up into a position of comfort so I can move on with the rest of the money. Then I'd look at starting some really good businesses. Not just one, but a series of businesses. Because that's kind of part of the mindset that we need to think about, which I'll talk about in another video. So when you have that idea that when you get money instead, now you're going to try and make something and get the money to build on itself. That's a big difference. People see money as being something that that they can consume, and and it will do that for you. But what happens is that money then just filters through your hands. You become a conduit for that money to pass on to somebody who's going to actually use it to grow their businesses or use it to grow their income. And this is why the people that never have, never will. And the people that always do, always will. So it's all down to habits. Changing those habits and looking at it from a different perspective. You have to be willing to look up from what you have. If you're in a position where you have your head down all the time because you're not worthy to be up there, other people are worthy to be up there, but you're not. I don't know why you're not, because you have as much potential as any millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, if they exist. I suppose there probably are, than anybody else. We all have the same potential inside of us. It's all down to how we act, and that's what the habits are. That's what conditioning is about. Wasteful habits can be things like procrastination. So you put things off constantly. I was a real big procrastinator. Could put things off for weeks, months, years. Really good at it. It was one of my really good traits. I could just dodge a bullet for years, and until you learn how to stand up to what you have to do. Just dive in there, and being forthright about it as well. That's the best way I feel that I could get over procrastination or being afraid to engage with things. Get in there confidently, and seek information, seek engagement, and you will find that a lot if it's to do with banking and government institutions. These people that work in there are quite taken aback by that, because they're used to people procrastinating and being afraid. You go in there confident and you go in there in control of yourself, then you will have a much better result than what you could ever have went if you did with a different mindset of begging. Again, I'm going to go back to this in another video. Laziness, it's part of procrastination. I prefer to be in bed for 3 or 4 hours than to get up and make a video for YouTube. So I prefer to be in bed for 3 or 4 hours than to get up and watch a documentary on something that I'm interested in, a subject that I'm looking into, which I do a lot. I have a big watch list on my YouTube. I see something on the feed that comes up, and if it's in something that I'm interested in, I'll click the watch later, and I'll watch that either on my mobile phone or on my laptop at some stage. Constantly trying to gather information about the stuff that I'm interested in. That's a habit I've started that I find gives me a little bit of information constantly every day that I would not have had the day before. And all that information gathers together naturally because of my habit has become this building up of information. So eventually I'll have a basic understanding of the subject that I'm interested in. Gluttony. I don't think it's just gluttony and just like gorging food constantly, but maybe so. Like, a lot of times if you have the habit of eating all the time and eating big and eating fatty stuff, then your body will look for that constantly, and you will only be drawn to that type of food. If you instead create a habit and a taste for things that are good for you, like a lot of green vegetables, stalk vegetables, a lot of drinking water constantly instead of drinking soft drinks. I stopped drinking soft drinks a number of years back, and I was at the stage where one time I was almost 18 stone, and I lost a stone in a year just from not drinking soft drinks. So like it can happen just from changing one little habit. Or being easily distracted. In my family we call it shiny because something comes up that you could be. I've done it. My other family members are kind of guilty of it too, and we could be in the middle of a conversation, and next thing something else comes up, and it's like really interesting to us, or it's really or to them, and they're gone, and the conversation has been left dead. And it could be something important. It could be something about with the business ideas that we're working on, but something else comes up that's not really important at the time, but I guess the habit is there of following away, looking at this thing that maybe should not be distracting us right now, but it does. So you form the habit of commitment instead. You want to get into something and you commit to it right the way through. So like to form a habit of commitment, what I think has been a big thing for me and something I can fall back on was my martial arts training. Was being able to say that I started in something and I'm still doing it. Martial arts is a lifelong lesson, and get the black belt, get to my different dan grades, through commitment. When you learn that commitment, and it can be in any activity at all. If you join a club or a group that meets every week, no matter how many times in the week that is, once you've made a commitment to be in that group, then you must be there at all those meetings. They are the most important thing in your life on that day, at that time. You've made a commitment to those people. Not just to yourself, to those people. They expect you to be there. If you're not there, they'll say, "Oh, where's John today?" The next day you decide, I couldn't really be bothered going there. They'll wonder where you are again, and after a while of you not bothering to go, losing that commitment, then you'll keep because you'll keep rationalizing it. You'll keep giving yourself a reason not to go and making it okay not to go. You'll eventually have stopped. You won't be going to that club anymore. You won't get the value of this thing that you saw originally, because you'll have walked away from it. You'll have given up, and you'll have perpetuated a habit or a condition that you have within yourself that always says it's okay to give up. This is why when I teach a lot of kids in my martial arts, and it's something that I really believe in. That when a parent puts a child into a club, any club activity at all, no matter what it is, once you put them into something like that, into an activity, then it is the parent's responsibility, not just the child's, to commit to that activity. Once you commit, once you learn the action of committing to something, then it will stand to you for life. I seriously believe that out of all the things that we can do, learning to commit is one of the best. Once you've learned to commit, then you can write out your daily goals so that you have a busy full day, and you commit to try and finish all these goals. Other things may get in the way. Life can get in the way. If you've got a family especially, stuff can get in the way. But you write out your daily goals to try and give you something to do every day, that you're not kind of sitting around doing nothing. It's okay to have down days sometimes, but in general you want to be trying to do something that's productive daily. Today I'm on my own in my house, apart from the dog. And I plan to make at least one video, which I'm doing. Maybe I'll make more. So these are something that's productive, because I put them up on YouTube, and I'll share them with you, and hopefully you get something from it, and I'll get some feedback from you, and we can share and discuss the ideas that we're talking about. That's productive, because I'm into the idea of developing myself further than what I am at the moment. So part of my day is learning and sharing. If I'm doing nothing in particular, that's what I'm doing. Another thing you can do is to maybe start taking courses. Do stuff. You don't have to do everything on the internet. You can, even though you can do a lot on the internet, you can do courses. Look into the stuff that you're interested in, and go seek some night courses that are in some local schools or colleges around, and they're really, really reasonable. And if you're unemployed, they're sometimes even free. So get out there, look for those courses, do them, commit to them, commit to that time every week, and commit yourself 100%. Give all your attention to that course, to what the instructor is giving you. They're giving you information that you can take in, and if you enjoy it, if you're in there for the reason that you really, really interested and enjoy the idea of this course, then you're going to get an awful lot from it. Because if you're in there and you're not really enjoying it, you're not really happy with the experience of being at this course, you're doing it and it's absolutely annoying your brain, then you're in the wrong course. Walk away from it. Be true to yourself first. You have to be committed to get back the results, and you're only committed to something that you really, really want to do, that you really, really love the idea of doing. So another thing you could do is change the people who are around you. I think when you change some habits, the people that are around you may change as well automatically, because they don't want to change their habits. They want to keep their habits, and you've become this person that has changed so much that they don't want to be around you anymore, because you're telling them now that that their habits are things that they should not be doing, and they don't want to hear that, because they love doing their habits. Their habits are what are part of them, and how dare you tell them otherwise? So if that's the case, then fine. Sometimes you just have to let people go, and move on. And it may be better for you in the long term, and you may make new friends that are more into the habits that you've attained now, and that's only going to be a good thing for you in the long run. And your friends may decide afterwards, later on, that they want to change their habits, and that they might follow you up that road, up that path. But it's not something you can seriously let hold you back right now. So a way that if you want to change your habit as well of who you are and what you are and what way you dress and what way you act, look for people in society, in the world, that you can admire. Look at people that are successful. Look for people that are millionaires and more, and try to copy their habits, their successful habits. There's no one in the world that doesn't have a bad habit. But what you're looking for is people that have got the success. And what did they do to get that success? What do they do now to get that success? And what are their future plans to keep that success going on? Study them. Study how they act, study how they talk, study how they get their message across. Try to be them in a little way. It may be a collective of people. I think there was a saying I heard there about when you're writing, and if you copy all one text of one person, it's plagiarism. But if you copy pieces of multiple text from different people, then that's research. I like that one. And it can be the same with personalities. If you find somebody that you really, really admire, and you really like how they get their message across, and you really like how they have, become a success in their life, and it can be somebody that's living or in the past, it doesn't matter. Success is success, no matter when and where it happened. And you may see other people, and other people, and more people again, that you admire. Take on their traits, read about them, get their biographies, watch documentaries on them. Seek the information that they normally freely give, because they understand the meaning of what it is to try to be a success. No doubt they studied people that they wanted to be as well. There's nothing wrong with having an idea that that you're going to be the best in the world, at the top of your game in whatever field that you decide to be in. So you need to keep your head up. Don't have it down. Look forward towards that goal that you set yourself, what you want to be. Change your habits into those ones that you've found that the successful people that you admire, that you aspire to become like, do daily, what they had done in the past to get to where they are now. Start with what you've got yourself. You have to look at yourself. I don't want you to get stuck in a rut where you say, well, I'll never be, Bill Gates. I'll never be like Richard Branson. I'll never be like Alan Sugar. I'll never be like insert your millionaire here. I'll never be like Rihanna. I'll never be like, the Rolling Stones. Why will you not? These are all people that started off really normal lives. The only thing that was different between them and the people that are not successful is commitment. Commitment and willing to learn. A lot of people have commitment, but because they're so wrapped up in themselves, they don't really see the advantages of learning from other people, and these people come across as being very self-centered and a little bit manic, because they're trying to manically convince everybody about their amazingness. The people that are successful are the people that are calm and constantly learning, but believing in their end goal, and will incessantly strive to achieve their end goal, no matter how many knockbacks they get, no matter what kind of problems they come into in their lives. They keep getting back on track. No matter what knocks them off that track, they keep getting back on it. Once you keep that idea in your head that you're going to keep getting back on track, that nothing's going to knock you off, no problem, no history, no family history, not because you come from the wrong part of town, not because somebody in your family died of a heart condition at some stage in their life. It doesn't matter what it is. You will overcome it. You will grow above it. You may possibly bring more people with you and change not just your life, but change a lot more people's lives. And this is all done by habit. So I want you to look at your habits, write them down. Are they really habits that are helping you get to where you need to be? If they're not, change them. Thanks for listening, guys, and talk to you again soon.